In this video, we'll be walking through the client interview of the cost approach. The first step to doing this is specifying how many hours your client works in an average week. We'll use the slider to specify the amount of hours. Note, Bureau of Labor Statistics and the IRS only require you to specify 40 hours per week, even if they are working more than that. Once we've done that, we'll specify the state and the county where your client's office is located. After we've done these two steps, we'll click on Next, Standard Tasks, and start identifying the tasks that your client performs for their business. For this example, we're using Phil Dunphy of Phil Dunphy Real Estate. He acts as a real estate agent, a real estate broker. He also has a property that he manages and has hired 2 employees this year. With that being the case, we're going to go through each of these categories and select the tasks that Phil performs in the business. As part of his property management role, he is acting as a grounds and lawn caretaker. As I go through these different options, read through each of these jobs to see if your client does perform them. Now, if you're not sure what these jobs mean, you can always hover over each of the jobs to see what the description, because he has hired and trained his employees, will add this as one of his tasks. Common mistake made when specifying tasks for management is to select chief executive as part of the business owner's role. If we hover over the chief executive title, we'll see in the description that a chief executive reports to a board of directors and that they manage subordinate executives and staff to be a chief executive. They will need to report to a board of directors and have subordinate executives that they manage. In our experience, it is rare for a small business to have a true chief executive. Once you have identified all of the standard tasks that your client performs within the business, we'll click Next, Business Tasks. Business tasks are the tasks that your client performs that typically generate revenue or that are specific to their business. For Phil, 2 of these business tasks will consist of being a real estate agent and a real estate broker. So if I type in real, you'll see all of the different job titles will show for me. I'm going to scroll down and select real estate agent and real estate broker. I also know that he manages a property. So in this search, I'll type in property manager. And here we have it. If your client's title is not listed within RC reports, you'll want to find a title that has a description matching what your client does day to day. After we have selected all of our client's business tasks, we'll then click Next, Tasking and Proficiency. This step is where we'll allocate the amount of time our client spends doing each of these tasks and the client's proficiency level. Each task listed here needs to have a certain amount of time associated with it. You'll see as I move these sliders, in the top right hand corner, the pie chart fills as well. We need to make sure this pie chart is at 100% before we can go to the final step. Along with the time, we also need to specify the proficiency for our clients. Rule of thumb when specifying proficiency: unless your client has specialized in this task at some point within their career, they're likely going to be average, below average, or low. In Phil's example, when he mows the lawn at his rental property, he does a wonderful job and the lines are always very straight. However, we're comparing him to all of the other grounds and lawn caretakers that do this job full time. So even though Phil makes the lawn look really nice at the rental property, we're still going to consider him a below average grounds and lawn caretaker. We'll do the same activity for all of these tasks, with a majority of Phil's time is spent in his business tasks, which consist of real estate agent, real estate broker, and property manager. For these tasks, we're going to mark above average and average. Once we have done this, we'll click the Next Review button. On this page, you'll be given an overview of all the information you have specified during this interview. Here is where you can click and view Phil's reasonable compensation report. During our next video, we'll be walking through how to read this report. At any given time, if I need to go back and correct information within this interview, I can do this simply by clicking on one of the steps on the left side of the page. In the next video, I'll be walking through the reasonable compensation report that we generated for Phil and reviewing all of the information contained within it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.